The family, the renters, got upset because they got evicted. So they had these freezers full of meat. So they took the freezers and they just dumped them over and left the meat in the floor. This is the middle of summer.
Oh.
For months. The guys called me. I'm on vacation. I'm in Florida now. And they're literally going, and I was like, what? And they're like, we can't even get to the basement door. They're like, well, I knew I smelled something when I'd pulled in the driveway. And I was like, yeah, carcass.
Welcome to the Love Your Brand podcast. If you're looking for real conversations with real people, you're the right place. Let's go!
Love it. I love it. Awesome sauce. Everybody.
Awesome sauce.
Welcome. Welcome to the Love Your Brand podcast. Today we have a special guest. He and his wife started the first junk removal business in Iredell County, NC, headquartered out of Statesville, North Kakalaki. After 5 years in business, they have been voted Best Junk Removal Sanitation Company in the area 2 years in a row. They are a full-service junk removal company specializing in residential, commercial cleanouts, small structure demolition, hot tub removal, above-ground pool demo, and so much more.
So much.
And as you can see, their slogan, "One call removes it all," has staked this claim. They are currently on a journey of the business growing, which always brings new challenges and lots of learning opportunities. Please welcome Mr. Brandon Crouch, owner of HunkaJunk Hauling, baby.
Man,
Welcome.
I appreciate that intro. I feel like there should have been like an applause, a clap, or something like that.
Let's add that in. Add that in right now.
It
They'll
will.
knock that in.
They will
Awesome.
make it
It's all about the edit.
with a little sound, a little music behind it. It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait to see what just
Can you
happened.
play the Bulls intro?
That's what I was just
from
thinking.
from the 90s.
Dun, 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 dun.
Introducing!
And 5'6" from Iredell County.
That's right, 5'7". I'm wearing tennis shoes.
5'7". There you go. Good to have you, man.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you having me on. Well, listen here, we can't be drinking these
Oh,
dunkles,
snap.
all right, without having some swag. Here
Check
you go.
that out.
All right.
Check that out. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Little hunk of junk.
One call removes it all, everybody. One
That's
call.
right.
One call. That's all it takes.
And you have to have this to keep your tasty beverages nice and cold.
So would you actually say that the industry you're in is junk? Like, hey, what industry you in? I'm in junk.
Yeah, I just tell somebody, hey, let's talk junk. So, yeah, that's what we do. We're a full-service junk removal company. So what does that really mean? So everyone listening to this podcast right now has an attic, a basement, a closet, a business, their mom, their grandparents, their brothers or sisters, something where it's just too much clutter. They got too much junk and they don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Or they don't have the time to really mess with it. So that's where we come into play. So we are a full service junk removal company. We offer different options to customers. So you can rent one of our dump trailers. We can drop it off, leave it there for you for 3 days, and you can do the heavy lifting. Or for a slightly extra fee, you can sit back, drink a dunkel, and point, and we'll take care of it all.
That doesn't sound too bad. Now, how'd you come up with the name HunkaJunk?
That is a great question. So it was not the first name of the company. The first name of the company was actually Patriot Junk Removal.
Ooh.
And so we got a pretty little letter from a company in Fayetteville called Patriot Junk Removal and said, I like your style, but stop.
That's going. Say cease and desist that,
And I was
please.
like, well, I thought you was kind of far enough out of the way, but you have found me. So I learned a lesson. And so my wife actually created the name HunkaJunk. I don't know how she did it. I wish I had remembered, but it just stuck. And I said, yeah, I like it. It's unique. It's catchy. You know, there's all the big franchises out there anyway. But yeah, that's how it came about. My wife.
Last night, speaking of wives, my wife, she was like, hey, what's on your plate for tomorrow? I was like, we're filming another episode. And she's like, oh, who's coming on this time? I was like, oh, we founded a junk removal business, HunkaJunk. She was like, Hunks Hauling? I was like, what? And she mentioned this name. Mm-hmm. And apparently in Nashville, there's this junk removal. They're like Hunks Hauling something. And apparently it's these dudes, and their unique differentiator is that they're these hunks. Like, they're literally like these good-looking guys. It's how they're marketing themselves.
It could be College Hunks Haul Junk. That is the second largest franchise second or third largest franchise in the U.S.
Really?
Yes. So I will tell you, they think we're HunkaJunk, that we're sending hunks. So it's a little bit of false advertising because we're not good looking. All right, we're not making a calendar. Okay, but so
that was the next question. Was there a calendar for junk removal?
But maybe we should.
I mean, I am open to anything.
I mean, look, we got 3 months sitting right here.
Hey, I'm ready.
Let's go.
I need like
Let's
8 weeks
go.
heads up. I need 8 weeks.
But honestly, if that was their differentiator, if I need trash removed, I come across them. I actually don't want to call them.
No,
I don't want these good-looking hunks showing up to my door to get my stuff.
That's right.
A hot tub.
Right. You want the midget like me to show up to come and remove all your
Feel
stuff.
a little
Right.
more comfortable with that.
Absolutely. Non-threatening. Non-threatening whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like my wife, she's 5'10", flat-footed. And so when I met her, people were like, what? I said, baby, you have missed a whole world down here. Like, this is a whole new beginning for you. Like, congratulations. You're welcome.
Man, she married up.
Yes, she did. I'm kissing her like a squirrel climbing a tree. But
Amazing.
yeah, we have a good time.
How long y'all been married?
We have been married 10 years.
You got any kids?
We have 7-year-old twins, Dempsey and Sullivan. Little boy, little girl.
Oh, nice. Which one's your favorite?
It's funny. People do ask that, but I love them equally. There's certain aspects I love about each of them, and then there's certain aspects I don't love so much about them. But they're kids, so they're figuring themselves out. Like my little boy this morning, I was reading his note from his teacher, and so they do these reading tests. Right? He's a smart kid. They both test well, but he has been coming home saying, "Hey, Dad, I made 100." And he told his teacher he's made 100. And I don't know how she's been missing it, but he was not making 100, like nowhere even in the ballpark. And so she wrote a note, and I was like, dude, why did you lie to me and your teacher? And he said, Daddy, I didn't want to disappoint you. I wanted you to think I was smart. So, I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, I was like, all right, buddy, I'm disappointed that you lied, but I love you. We'll talk about it when you get home. So when I get home, we're going to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, dang, normally I'd be like, come on now, but I had to take it easy on him.
Man. So that
parenting is hard, man.
It can be tough. Yep.
It can be tough.
It can be tough.
I didn't know how to respond.
Hey, man,
Got a lot of thoughts going on.
For me too, English can be tough. It can be tough.
It can be tough.
I mean, when you're running you guys know when you're running a business and you have children, you have a wife, you're a son, could be a brother. You got a bunch of hats you got to wear.
Yeah.
And you're trying to succeed at all of them. And you always don't knock it out of the park on all of them. But
speaking of hats, I mean, HunkaJunk, that's not your full-time job, right?
Yeah, no. So I am a registered nurse, and I have been for almost 21 years. I can't believe it, man. That's a long time. But yeah, I work a full-time job. I work for a medical device company, and I travel some international now. I used to do a lot of international travel, but now I mostly travel the Southeast.
Sounds like a full plate.
It's pretty full, yeah. So I wear all the hats for HunkaJunk. Luckily for me, I have an incredible, and I cannot thank them enough. I cannot brag on them enough, but I have an incredible crew that realizes that they're representing a brand. It's not just a company, and they're representing my family and my children when they go out there. So my guys go above and beyond on every job. And, that means so much. Not every day is a great day. Everybody has an off day. But at the end of the day, these guys always do what is right. And they do a good job. And customer service is number one by far. That's our number one goal, is to do a good job. Customer's not happy. I'm not going to be happy. Nobody's going to be happy. So, we're in an industry now to where, you guys know, you get one bad review, it could sink the ship. Not sink the ship, but it just gives it a different feel to when people see a 4.8 star versus a 5-star.
Right.
Yeah, there's mixed feelings on that, though, because a lot of times, we strive for the 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people, if they see 5-star, they think they're bots and fake reviews.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so it kind of goes both ways, and to where you want to see a little imperfection, because everybody's always going to have some faults. Everybody's always going to mess up. And honestly, there's a lot of times I don't rate something like a 5-star review or a 10
mm-hmm.
because I think there's always room for improvement. So like if I give you a 9 out of 10, it doesn't mean that you're bad, but you always have room for improvement.
You're the guy that keeps me up at night.
I'm that guy. I'm going on HunkaJunk tonight. I'm going to give you all a review, man. Make you work for it.
He's going to get that full Fugazi review.
Going
that guy.
Going after it. But the best way to combat bad reviews is to bury them with good reviews.
I like that.
So like think about it. If you only have 5 or 10 reviews, you get one bad one. I mean, that's going to hurt your business. But if you got thousands of reviews, nobody's going to see that 1 or 2 or 3.
No, we talk about it all the time, man. You're at the 5-year mark, right?
6.
6.
Yeah. This month.
So you made it over a pretty good hump. You know, they're like 2, 5, 8, then 10. Those are big years.
Mile markers.
A lot of businesses don't make it. That's huge. And what he was saying is, those reviews, they're huge. I don't know where I was going with it.
This is awesome.
This is what I love. It's not scripted. This is real.
But the imperfections, man, is totally real. Like, you can't make everybody happy at the end of the day. And the fact that you've got a 5-star review for that long is pretty amazing. One time we just had some random person come and drop a 1 star. We didn't know who they were or anything. We fought with Google for 4 years. They never dropped it. And I ended up moving the address, and it finally went away. But we handle a lot of clients in their review systems.
Right.
And it happens all the time. And I always say, don't beat yourself up over it, because you're not going to make everybody happy. You can go above and beyond. Perfect service.
Oh yeah.
But you're going to have those handful of people that's just going to be, the right word. Just, you can't make them happy no matter what you do.
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, in my other profession, my line of business, it used to be we would have to travel offshore.
Yeah.
Okay. To have the patients receive the treatment that they wanted, because it wasn't FDA approved. So patients would call me, and then they would pay $25,000 cash to go offshore with myself and a team and their U.S. doctor. So we would go to the Bahamas or Bermuda or Cancun to do the treatments there. And when someone's paying $25,000, right, to a country to have a procedure done, they have a certain expectation. So I've taken that sort of high expectation and rolled it into what I also do here. So that's, it's a full concierge service of what we used to do offshore, and I try to provide that concierge service in our junk removal business.
I mean, I think you have to set your sights on excellence and customer service and serving them well, but there comes the people pleasing aspect of it. If you try to please everybody, you're setting yourself up to be let down, because, and I mean, there's trolls everywhere. We talk about it when we launched the podcast. I mean, we have people that come on, they just put comments. It's like, do people just sit there waiting on how can I be negative today and talk negative about somebody? We posted the Chris episode, this kid that started business at 12 years old. I posted a short, and within minutes, I get this dude comment on it. He's like, seriously, only 1 like and 1 comment, my comment, stop lying. Like, he just went off on it. I was like, were you just waiting on something to be posted so you could just go after it and be negative?
So throughout my years of doing the various things and whatnot, and I'm still a bad habit of reading the comments, but Joe Rogan will tell you, do not read the comments. And it is so true. You read the comments and you don't reply back so bad, and you sit there and you type it up and you're like, oh, I got him. And I'm like, all right, don't hit send. But just know Blue Hawk 24/5, I got you.
Yeah. Hey,
that's him. He's Blue Hawk 24/5.
And if you got any comments, I will never look at them. So the only way I will see them is if someone tells me.
Yep.
That's the only way I look at them. Just FYI. I only look at half of my episodes, just to be honest with you.
But there, so I'm play devil's advocate there. Like, you have to comment and engage with people that are truly impressed and engaging with your brand. And so they're looking, that's where social media has opened up that, to where social media separated the human interaction, and it created, you can just hide behind your computer or your phone over here. But then people don't buy from brands, they buy from people. And so when you go in and start engaging, it invites them in, because so often I saw a article the other day, and it talked about Cisco Cisco recently is teaching 84,000 employees, all of their employees, 84,000 employees, how to be social media influencers to represent the brand for Cisco.
Right.
And so they're going out because it's look at their reach. And so if I'm an employee of Cisco and I have 1,000 people following me, I start speaking positively about my brand, and then I have this reach. And then this employee does, they have this reach. And so they see the importance of influencer and how they're leveraging social media. And so we can't just post and be absent. And so there has to be some kind of engagement to show that it's a real brand and a real person behind that actually cares about our audience.
That's why you surround yourself with people that really care about your brand.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Also, we have grown as a junk removal company. Like you said, we were the first junk removal company in Iredell County. Obviously, we didn't reinvent the wheel. We just put a wheel in Statesville and we tried to put our, homegrown spin on it. And, but without our family and friends, my friends support us 110%. Like,
awesome.
When we're in the parades, friends and their kids are in the dump trailers and we're riding around unicycles, we're having a good time. Eric's on the megaphone, we're handing out all sorts of HunkaJunk swag to everybody. They always come to events and help support us, which is awesome. They're always wearing our gear around town. So when we host events like for charity, Kevin and I will guest bartend, and I'm representing HunkaJunk. They all come in. And they're buying a beer and donating to local charities and stuff like that.
Nice.
And when we do once a year, Yoke Fella restock the food bank. In the last 2 years, we've been able to donate thousands of servings of food to help restock the food bank. My buddies are always coming and bringing like canned food and whatnot and helping with that. So I could not be more happy, proud, and just blessed with the family and friends that have totally just embraced HunkaJunk and helped build us to what we are, but there's still much more room for growth for us. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know, that's actually where I was born. Well, no, I was born in Greensboro, but I moved to Greensboro, and I moved to Statesville when I was 2 or 3, downtown Statesville.
Yeah.
And ran the streets of Statesville.
Let me hear stories.
No, not too many.
He was boring.
This is PG.
Wait for the second beer.
But so what is so cool is just to see you've grown up there and all the support from the locals that's also been there, and they're supporting you and you're thriving, and just seeing that's always awesome. I always told my wife, I'm like, baby, maybe we should at least go back to Statesville, get a little second place. Just
yeah, baby.
My parents, they still live there, and blah blah blah. So we do go and visit a lot.
So your folks are still in Statesville?
They are. They are about to move in right there close to uptown with my sister. They're in the Stony Point area.
Oh yeah.
So we're about to move them in with my sister. They're older now. So I will be down there quite frequently. As soon as that starts happening.
Go get some dinner and some drinks.
Yeah.
And take him for a ride along. Cops, we can go ride along. He needs to go on a ride along HunkaJunk.
You should come and shadow HunkaJunk for a day. You would love it. It's funny you say that because I actually was researching how do I reach out to a local college? Like, was there an intern or a kid who needs a school project? Because not that we would be like the lizard lick towing of junk removal, but my guys are a cast of characters. Okay. And the stuff that we see and that we come across is definitely TV worthy.
That's where I wanted to go. Yeah.
So, we do anything from
best thing you found. Come on. What we got?
The best thing best
cringy thing you found.
Someone's human ashes. So there was this customer, and he had a house, and then he had built a mother-in-law suite, but the mother-in-law suite was for his wife's best friend, but he wasn't, I guess, real close with her, and she had no family or whatnot. Well, the wife got ill and passed away. Well, now it's him and this lady living out there. Well, guess what? She got sick and died. Well, she had no family, so she was cremated. So the guys call me and they were cleaning out our house and they're like, hey, Brandon, you got to come here. I'm like, what, man? So I drive over there and they hand me this bag and it says the crematory name on it and whatnot. And there's a box and I lifted out the box and it has her name, Victoria, whatever it is. And they're like, what are we supposed to do with this? And I was like, well, I don't know, but we surely can't go throw it in the landfill. So I walk up to the house and I knock on the door and we'll call him Tom. Tom comes to the door and I was like, hey, Tom, hey, I got some good news, man. We found Victoria. and dead stone cold, he goes, yeah, we weren't that close.
I don't want to.
Oh, no.
And I was like, well, you were closer to her than I am. And I walked myself in and sat her on the floor inside the door. And I was like, bye, because I cannot throw her in the landfill, dude. Like, when I leave, you do what you want. But no, we can't do that.
No, that's...
But yeah, that's probably the most interesting thing. With a coffin, we did
that's freaky.
We did
Did you open it?
Yeah, and what was inside was not a human body. I don't think it had ever been used, but someone built this coffin for a reason. And
they have a hole in the backyard too.
No, this was in a building in Statesville over there near Oakland Avenue, one of those old long warehouses behind the old Cheryl Lumber.
Oh wow!
So we just recently cleaned it out, but when we opened it up, it had like baby doll, like a little scale. It was weird, man.
Oh, that's creepy stuff, man.
Yes.
Horror movie.
We find a lot of stuff. We did a lot of hoarder house clean outs. Ooh, God, people are disgusting.
See animals in there?
There was a snake. We never found that snake. I haven't seen any animals. Definitely, we came across this one up Highway 21 going up past the auto auction. You kind of know where that is.
Mm-hmm. I worked there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
The family, the renters, got upset because they got evicted. So they had these freezers full of meat. So they took the freezers and they just dumped them over and left the meat in the floor. This is the middle of summer. For months. The guys called me. I'm on vacation. I'm in Florida now. And they're literally going, and I was like, what? And they're like, we can't even get to the basement door.
Is there an extra charge for spoiled meat?
Well, it is. Let's just say it wasn't cheap for us to clean that out. So I had to call the homeowner who didn't even live around here, and I was like, "Look, your tenant," and there was maggots. There was 1,000,000 flies, and they're dead. And so I was like, "Listen, they have left meat spoiled in your basement." They're like, well, I knew I smelled something when I'd pull in the driveway. And I was like, yeah, carcass.
Oh, my gosh.
The whole Costco meat section is thawed in your basement. So, at any rate, so the guys, they're FaceTiming me. And literally the one guy is sitting there just like spitting up while he's trying to talk to me. And he's like, do we have to do this? And I was like, man, if they pay us, yeah, we have to do it. It's over there on the right.
What you looking for? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. So
that's nasty.
It was very nasty, but you know, that's not every job, or otherwise the guys probably wouldn't work with me.
Man.
But yeah, it's we have definitely seen some interesting things, and people are weird, man. People in their bedrooms when they die, they don't realize somebody's going to come and find that secret drawer full of surprises that you don't want the children to know about.
You never know.
So yeah,
a secret drawer. Look at our lovely host.
Tips.
You have some tips?
I accept tips.
You do? Okay. Hey, we will remember that as soon as I get my wallet.
So I'll tell you, while she's doing, I'll tell you a funny story. I was telling a guy yesterday, we were at his house swimming, and I said, I've cleaned out that house beside you there, and it has an old horse barn in his backyard.
Are most of these places like out in the country?
No. The house I'm getting to explain is in a neighborhood that I will leave nameless, but it could be very close to where I live. So, like real close. But we went to go clean it. They're like, hey, we're going to sell this house. Just go out there and clean out that old horse barn, that's out there. And I was like, all right. So I told the guys, all right, look, just go knock it out, take everything, boom. So they call me. And in the one stall, they had found hundreds of empty beer cans and beer bottles and condoms and pocket things, if you know what I mean. And I was like, what is going on out here? Somebody had just been going out there and having a hell of a time by themselves in the horse barn. I hope they was by themselves. But they're like, do we go in and tell the homeowner what we found? And I was like, no, you don't tell them what they found because just load it up. Get on out and smile.
In and out.
In and out, man. In and out.
Just like they were. In and out.
It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes, the junk world is, like I said, there are times when a camera crew should be there because it is...
Well, they have TV shows for this, those hoarding shows.
But not just hoarding. Like, my guys are a cast of characters. I got one dude who's in his late 60s. He's retired, and he's as country as corn. And chews tobacco, doesn't spit. He swallows it. And he's a third generation, don't give a damn. And he works hard as a mule. Got another guy, 70, works just as hard. Then I got a guy in his 50s. He's a hard worker. But when you and I got a 20-year-old kid that works with us, all of them are hard workers, but they all have different personalities. So when you put them all together, it's interesting. And when they come at the end of the week, I let the kids go, they pay them or whatnot. And they love doing that because they talk to the kids and the kids love how they talk and all this other stuff. So, but yeah, it is never boring. That's for sure. Never boring.
So how did you, when I think about junk removal, that's never been an industry that has intrigued me or that I just had any curiosity about.
Yeah.
And so 6 years ago, you start this. What was it? You and your wife were sitting around at dinner one day and, hey, baby, we need to start a junk removal business.
So I've always had an entrepreneur spirit, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I've always wanted to be my own boss, start my own thing. That's mine. I did that. Mm-hmm. We did that. The nursing thing is great. Obviously, it's provided a good living for me and my family. But you always feel like there's something else you can do that you did. And so we've talked about it. And I thought, man, I don't want to do something to where I go $500,000, $1 million, $2 million in debt, and you're trying to work yourself out, and you have all this overhead. And by the way, I'm not that smart. So she told me, she's like, hey, listen to the bingo for her brains. Absolutely. She listened to this podcast.
She got you for your height.
Exactly.
Or lack of.
Right. Tall, dark, and handsome.
There you go.
So she listened to this podcast called How I Made This or How I Built This or something, but it was from the CEO, creator of When Hunter Got Junk. And she said, listen to this. She goes, you want a truck? And we want to start a business. We need a write-off. So I listened to it, and I was like, well, this guy started like with a beater and wrote junk removal on the side of spray paint. So, okay, all right. So literally, I bought an old utility trailer for my father-in-law. I had it fabricated. The walls were 4 foot tall, was 10 feet long, 5 foot wide, and tried to figure out how to price it. I was like, all right, we're starting. So after a couple weeks, months, I was doing all the jobs by myself. She would come and help. And she was like, hey, you're really doing this. Like, this is like turning into a job. I said, yeah. She was like, that's not what we agreed upon. Like, this is supposed to be like a little thing. We'll get a little business, get a little tax write-off, And I was like, yeah, but baby, that's my number. So when they call it, they're talking to me and I'm from here. So I cannot, you've always told me, baby, do not overpromise me and underdeliver. So I can't do that to people who are calling. This is our hometown.
That's good, man.
And then she was like, oh, shit. I have done it now. So, and then from there on, we grew. The first year, I did all the jobs by myself or with a friend, or she came along, and she'll never let me forget it, but she did a great job. And then we graduated to a box truck. So then we did that for a while. And then it was like, man, unloading a 16-foot box truck is brutal. So then it's like, okay, I got to get a truck and a dump trailer. So we graduated to.
But hold on.
Yes, sir.
Meaning with the box truck, it's just too much?
So the box truck, you got to think it's about 7 feet wide, 6 feet, 16 feet long, and about 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
So when you stack all that stuff in there, then you drive to the landfill. Now you have to grab every piece twice to unload it. So you've loaded it, and now you have to hand unload it. When you have a dump trailer, you stand there and you hit a button, and it goes, and it dumps it all.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's more efficient, and so we can do more jobs. And
that's why I didn't start a junk business. I don't know these things.
Well, I didn't either. I was learning as I go. But when the guys tell me they need something, I get it for them. They're like, we really need a dump trailer. And I'm like, why do we need a dump trailer? They're like, come on. So I went and did a job with them, and I was like, y'all need a dump trailer. So I went and got them a dump trailer. And I think that's another thing too that is very important for people who are, I guess, bosses. It's weird to call yourself a boss, or I feel that way. But you have to listen to your employees or the people who work for you. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, if they get disgruntled or upset, especially with you, it's over. If you don't have, in my opinion, I'm no expert, but if you don't have a relationship with your employees that come and say, hey, I need this to make my job better and to make it easier on me. And if you're not there to listen and to provide that, I don't think you're going to be successful, and I don't think you're going to have retention on your employees.
Dude, that's really good. Let's pause there for a second, because so many businesses do that wrong. They make the focus their client, their audience, who they're going after, which is important because you have to have them to grow your business. But it starts with your employees. It starts with your people. And there's so many books, so many authors that have written upon this to where you take care of your employees really well. They're going to be the ones that take care of your audience. They're going to be the ones that take care of your business and grow your business.
Damn, I didn't even read a book for that. I should have.
Right?
But I feel like that's common sense, though. I think it goes along the lines. It has to be.
Man, look, dude, it's 2024. I could look out. I mean, I could give you some topics right now. We don't want to get too political. Things that are common sense right now.
Right.
But they're not.
Yeah. No, I get it.
One thing I've been intrigued about.
Gender? That's what I'm sorry.
Stop. One thing I've been intrigued about.
I was in that conversation earlier today.
He knew. He was like, don't say it.
One thing I've been intrigued about
is the dunkel. But I found myself.
Do we need a commercial break?
Really. Our who was our first sponsor? I don't know. You better come now.
The drink.
Zevia. We're still waiting.
Not really, but Zevia.
We're still waiting.
Us a call. Look, this could be you right now, Zevia.
All right.
But anyway, the nostalgic part of it, I found myself so interested in vintage stuff since I've gotten older. Like, something just old fans, old, coolers, this stuff, and I just keep it. And I'm just like, man, I just love it. I just love the look and, the 70s, the 80s.
You remember Mark's computer?
Yeah.
It was like a TV.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first TVs from was it in the 50s?
It was pretty. It was back.
It was like the old TV. He cut it. He found it like in his grandfather's attic, cut the front off and put it around like an Apple iMac computer.
Get out.
Dude, it was sick.
And
sorry, I butted down.
And it's Mana Nutrition. So mananutrition.org.
They're our next sponsor.
Yeah, next sponsor. We're going to actually throw them a pro bono sponsorship that we see in the future. So be on the lookout. But anyway, I was just thinking about it. When you go pick up the stuff, like you got all these areas that you go pick up, and they don't really know what they got. They don't have value in it. Mm-hmm. So I know sometimes you pick up stuff that are like gems, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because it's coming. All this stuff is coming back. All this retro is coming back.
It's true.
So how do you facilitate that? Do you like?
That's a really good question. So I do not. HunkaJunk Hauling does not resell anything. I don't repurpose anything. Number one, I can't even hang a picture in the house. My wife does all that. Okay, because I am like I got 10 thumbs. In 2 left hands, and I get so frustrated. Okay, so I don't do that.
Hey, but real quick, are there like the laws or rules around that? Like, if you go to take somebody's trash, that you're obligated to trash it, or can you take it?
That's a fantastic question. Thank you for asking. So once you take possession of the item, it is now yours, mine. So, but what we do is if there are customers who say, like we're going to do it tomorrow, I want said items donated. So what we do is we donate to local nonprofit charities all the time. We donate to Fifth Street Ministries. Fifth Street Ministries, for those who don't know or are familiar with the Statesville area, it's the homeless shelter. So I love to donate furniture and stuff like that there, because what happens is when you get someone there who's in transition, they found a job and they have found an apartment or whatnot, but they can't afford to furnish the apartment. Okay. So what we do is we bring nice furniture, and they get to go downstairs or they even have an outbuilding, and they get to pick furniture for free that people are throwing away. And now they can now furnish their apartment. And I think it's pretty cool that we get to help with that.
That's freaking awesome.
We also donate to Yoke Fella again. We help with them with the food bank, but we donate.
Yoke Fella.
Yoke Fella.
Wow, that's still there?
Dude, it is still there. It's thriving.
What? All right, I'm thinking about the name. What is Yoke Fella?
So I can't remember what Yoke Fella stands for, but I just know that it is another local nonprofit in Statesville, and they help people who can't afford. Like, you can go to Yoke Fella and give them $1, and you get 10 canned food items. You can go donate your clothes or your furniture there, and then they turn around and resell it, and that money stays there with Yoke Fella for other things. I used to know a guy who was on the board, but he's not on the board anymore. So we like to donate to them too. And then there's another that we donate to called Iredell Coast, which does the same thing. And that's what. So those are the three main ones I like to donate to. I mean, I hate to say it, but I kind of try to stay away from like Goodwill. I will donate to them, but they're for profit, but I get it.
And back when I had my really country, accent, I would call it Yoke Fella.
Yoke Fellas. Now they still. You got to put the S on it. Yoke Fellas.
Hey.
Now Yoke Fellas used to be on Wilson Lee Boulevard.
Yeah.
But it moved over there on Shelton Avenue, kind of catty corner from Pfeiffer's Wings.
Is Statesville really this country? I don't know why I thought it was a little more proper than you two.
It's grown a lot, dude.
Because the fact that I'm the minority in this conversation is really weird.
It has grown a lot.
It has grown a lot, but
I didn't go for a few years, and I came back, and I was like, "Wow, what is going on?"
And it's grown even more, especially when you're coming from that Troutman area up, because I think they just approved 4,000 more homes or something like that to be added there, and it's migrating north up to Statesville. But yeah, man, Statesville's got some pockets that are country. When you talk about Stony Point and you go to Union Grove and Turkey Foot and Taylorsville, man,
Turkey Foot.
But I think it's connecting there, like the Troutman and the Statesville.
Yeah.
I think it's just growing. Like, I think my CPA just bought a bunch of land, and he's raising the little the cattle, the short cattle with the long hair. That's really good beef. What are they called? I forgot the name of them, but they're freaking awesome.
baby cows. Hippie cows? Is it the long hair?
Google that. Long haired
Scottish Highland cows.
Scottish Highland.
Oh, did you Google it? You know that. Oh.
Look at that.
You got your own Jamie.
Hold on, the cute ones?
You are legit. You have your own Jamie.
Those things are cute, man.
You eat
Can we call,
You can eat those?
yeah, they're a cow. Man, you can eat anything.
Jamie
That's
on the
true.
phone.
That's true.
Dude, you're in Statesville. You can eat anything.
Oh, baby. Look at us. Oh.
Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot.
She's going to get thumb tunnel. That was quick.
I'm telling you, man. They are,
But I will tell you. So
What are we
there's-
talking about? What about them?
So I'm going to twist it back.
They're
So
growing. They're connected.
Baby
the
cows.
towns are.
Got way side
Baby
there.
cows.
right. So everything's becoming a big suburb, basically, of Charlotte. Everything's migrating north finally.
Yeah.
But so I know a ton of realtors in town, obviously, because of what I do. But they
Are they good resources for what you do?
fantastic resources for what we do. But they were just letting me know. I met with one of them last week that now when they go to these real estate investment groups or these meetings or whatnot, like, hey, I'm from here. Hey, I'm from there. Now the Statesville reps are the darling at the ball. Everyone wants to dance with them because even it's expensive for us, but it's cheap for these other folks still to come up there and buy all this acreage and land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all going north. So we're getting ready to have a it's going to be interesting because we're getting ready to have a Iredell County Commissioner's race. Early voting's February 15th. I believe the end voting date's March the 5th, maybe. But the big thing is going to be these folks who are going to either be voted in or stay in. How are they going to impact the growth that's coming? Because growth is good, but you got to have good growth. We got to have good jobs.
Absolutely.
We got to have housing. We have to do the right things. So whoever y'all are, good luck. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
I'm trying to get my question, but I had a question. You lost me with a cow.
Dude. So the whole purpose of that is that place is just blowing up. You know, me, I'm originally from Statesville. I was actually a collections agent in Statesville, and I would go,
You were in collections?
yeah,
Really?
Park Drive. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
name it. I would go into the iffy areas and just like, hey, give me your stuff. And I was in collections, and then I ended up moving to Charlotte. So when I moved to Charlotte, I started out uptown. And so as I've grown older, I've continued to go further out. So I started uptown, then I moved out to, I think, Providence area, and then I moved out farther to Ballantyne, and now I'm in, Rock Hill, right on the border.
Right.
So it's that same concept, Statesville, they're merging. Everybody's moving out of those saturated areas and looking for those suburban areas with that acreage.
Yes, 100%.
Everybody
that
wants that.
breathing area. I have a cousin in Troutman. I have family in Troutman. They love it. They've got acreage and all that great stuff.
Everybody wants, it's interesting because everybody wants to be in the city, but now as you get older, now you want to go out further. You want the house and you want acres. You want to be alone. There's two things everybody wants. They want acres of land and they want to be the champ.
Look at this.
And not everyone can be the HunkaJunk champion.
I gotta see. It looked kind of heavy. Whoa!
Oh no, that's
Look
legit.
At that.
So look at his face.
Look at that camera.
So
HunkaJunk champion.
So there's a story behind it. Jason's like, what just happened?
What is happening?
Is it like a local wrestling?
Dude, this thing is legit.
Where's Ric Flair? Come on, Ric Flair.
The world heavyweight champion.
So I got to give. There's a story behind this.
Hold on a second. You can talk.
Go ahead.
Just a 2-bear story.
It's a 2-bear story. So, do you know Neil Johnson? He went to West.
Absolutely.
He owns a swimming pool. Okay. Huge wrestling fan. Okay. So I'm going to go to Neil's and I'm going to do a promotional video supporting him. And so we do the video or whatnot. And then he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, hey, in the spirit of giving, because it's around Christmas, he goes, I have something for you. And I was like, what? And he was like, hold here. And I'm like, what's he doing? So he goes in the back and I'm like, shooting this video. I'm like, trying to promote his swag or whatnot. He comes out and he gives me this. So Neil had this thing specially made. So it took 6 months. I don't know where he got my logo. He did this thing. And dude, I was so tickled. Man, I was like a kid.
This thing's incredible.
Yeah. And he had my colors and everything. Because I have also a t-shirt, not just like these here that...
Jason, feel that. That's heavy, bro.
The G.I. Joe inspired.
Oh, we can
That's
beat
legit.
somebody up with this.
Oh, dude.
If people are listening on Apple or Spotify, they don't see what's happening right now.
Like,
I mean, that is a legit, like, WWE wrestling belt.
Yeah, you wear this, you feel like the champ.
That's why I just put it on. Zan snapped a pic.
So literally, it is. No, he did it right.
That's
I want a
awesome,
picture of
man.
that. Yeah, I love this thing. So literally, I went around my neighborhood and I delivered my family Christmas cards wearing this belt.
Yeah.
I hand delivered all of them. I was like, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Dude, when you show up to a person's house, you need that over your shoulder. Like,
Well,
hey,
we're
they were
getting there.
HunkaJunk, the
getting there.
undisputed heavyweight champion of the world,
Junk removal.
HunkaJunk.
Yes. So is that not cool?
That's so
I love it.
That's
freaking
so
cool.
far past cool. Man.
There's so many. There's so many
What is it
things
that
you can
just
do
gets
with
us so
this, man.
excited?
Dude, who doesn't love a belt? Everyone loves a belt. Dude, I think I wore
Zan,
this
do you
thing
love that belt?
for 2 days and didn't take it off. My wife was like, are you going to take that off? And I was like, yeah, eventually.
So I took the boys to watch the new Zac Efron movie.
How is it, man? I want to see it so bad.
Hold on, what's the movie?
It was pretty freaking cool.
The fact that you just referenced it as a Zac Efron movie instead of like the new action movie or something.
Yeah, it's called Iron Claw.
Iron Claw.
That's for Z.
Now, Zac Efron, he got a whole new chin,
Dude.
jaw.
He broke. Thank you.
He-
He broke his jaw in a car accident.
He broke his
Thanks,
jaw and had it rebuilt, and he got so big,
Dude.
dude.
He is so jacked in that movie.
He's so jacked. The movie was freaking awesome. It's about this family, true story.
The Von Erichs.
The Von Erichs. And I mean, the wrestling was real. Man, I don't know if you've been following like Hulk Hogan and other people on recent podcasts.
Hollywood Hogan or Hulk Hogan?
Hulk
That's
Hogan.
a fair
Big
question.
difference. Big
That's
difference.
Dude, this wrestling was
Two different
legit.
Hogans.
Look at this swag. What?
Yeah. So we have merchandise too that we sell, and this is our G.I. Joe inspired HunkaJunk Hauling. But the reason Neil picked this type of belt is because we also have Hulkamania inspired.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
called Hunkamania.
Oh, and I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Look
Yeah.
at that segue.
So But
Dude,
yeah.
All right. So here's my initials, JH.
Oh, see,
So
what
I got to make something out of this hot JH. Man, this is like
HunkaJunk Hauling, one call removes it all.
One call removes it all.
So people are like,
I remember my question. Can I ask my question?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So you said when I asked about like, all right, when you take possession, then it's yours.
Yep.
So it's not theirs. If somebody calls you and say, I have all this junk, if I want to donate it, do I still have to pay just like if it was trash? Or is there a different cost, breakdown if they're going to donate and give it away to somebody?
So no, it's the same cost because we still have to use time and labor to go to said donation place and unload. So it's the same price.
Okay. Second part to that question. Have you found that there's people that have capitalized on the business opportunity of, like Jason said, there's like all this vintage stuff that people have. You go into these older homes, you can get some good stuff that there's value to it. Most people don't know. They just want to rid their home. They're hoarders or they have a room full of stuff. Do people make a business out of this to where they go in, take it for free, then turn around and sell it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some of your larger junk removal companies that actually have warehouse space. So anytime there's a load, they bring that load back to their warehouse, and then they sift through it, and then they keep what they want, and then they donate or trash or recycle. We recycle as well. I don't do that sifting through stuff. Now, my guys, if they see something they like, and it's going to the landfill and nobody cares, then they keep it. One of the guys actually used to run a flea market, so he's got a really good eye for stuff. And another guy, actually two of the guys are pickers. Like one will go up to Hillsville, and so they are seeing what's worth something. Yeah, they keep it. Yeah, they can't throw it away, which I appreciate. I'd rather not throw it away.
No, not if it's.
I think you need to wear this. Here, you wear it.
Bro, speaking my language.
Yes, you need a belt. Every man needs a belt, man.
Every man needs a belt.
It just makes you feel good.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel strong.
So I can't thank Neil enough.
Strong.
I used to hoop.
Thanks, Neil. I don't know you,
quite
bro.
A lot.
What?
We used to hoop, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Back in 8th grade, we go up to Christian's house and play.
Yeah, man.
And then scoot down to NB Mill sometimes and play there.
I wonder how many
people ain't gathered. Y'all know each other from back in the day, yeah?
I wonder how many people back home would like to get together and have a basketball run who would be still eligible to go full court.
Well, that's a good question. I can tell you that it ain't me. My lumbar and C-spine is all jacked up, but there's some that can. Yeah, Jerry Shepard. He went to North. You might not know Jerry, but he and two other partners started 704. Do you know 704? I'm sure you do.
It's a little local apparel.
That's the local apparel that does stuff for the Hornets and the Panthers.
I've seen the hats.
Jerry went to North Iredell. And so Jerry's dad was my guidance counselor. And so Jerry's been on my show, the Appetite for Discussion show. Now, here's what's crazy. A month ago, I'm walking through the airport, and I see the 704 pop-up shop in between gates A and B. And I'm sitting there, and I'm taking a picture like this. I'm going to send it to Jerry and be like, hey, man, congrats. This is big. You're doing great. And I heard the guy behind me go, I guess he's taking a picture. I don't know. And I turned around to the dude and I was like, well, I know the guy. He went to he's from Statesville. And he was like, oh, well, the 704 people are here. And I turned around and there's Jerry. So I got to give him a big old hug and was like, hey, man, good for you, man.
Nice.
Good job. So yeah, check those guys out. Local company 704. They're doing big things. So
it's awesome.
Good for them.
So you just mentioned Appetite for Discussion. So people don't know, you have a podcast or two?
Yeah, I do.
What was the inception of that? Like what birthed that?
Good question. So, I rarely talk about that. But so I started the first podcast that I know of out of Statesville as well. Started that in 2018, which is actually the same year I started HunkaJunk Hauling.
Yeah.
So 6 years ago, what started that was with my job, I travel around a ton, and I was noticing like in the hotel lobbies or in the airport, going out to dinner, you're seeing families and just people sitting at the table, but they're all in their phone. They're not talking to one another. I thought, man, we are losing the art of conversation.
Absolutely.
Like, people do not talk to one another anymore. And this guy right here or this gal right here could have the most interesting life story or just something that you can learn from. But people are just so scared to talk to one another, right? And at that time that we were so divided because of you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you voted for him, you voted for her, and I was like, look, let's just, who cares, there's something you can learn from everybody, right? It maybe it's something you want to do, maybe it's something I shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so that's how we did it. So we ran about 60 episodes, and I was doing it, believe it or not, out of a flea market in Statesville. It had a recording studio, which was awesome. And but they sold the flea market. So I've been running it here and there. It's dwindled down. I don't do it as often, but we're revamping. We've done about 82 episodes. We went up to reach about 45,000 folks with that. And we've had some great guests. We had a guy, he was the first person to ever run the Sahara Desert. He came on my show, and he is a recovering addict. And he and Matt Damon started a water company to bring, I think it was fresh water to Africa. So check this out. The dude was a drug addict, massive drug addict. He has a great book called The Running Man. I recommend anybody to read it. Or if you know anybody who's an addict, give it to him. His name is Charlie Engel, and he went to Carolina, and he got off drugs, ruined his family, became an ultra marathon runner. And he was having this documentary filmed about him, about running the Sahara Desert. Well, the night of the premiere of the movie, whatnot, 300 people up in Greensboro, an IRS agent happened to be watching the movie. And he's like, how did this guy live? Like, he's running all the time. You know, he went to the Sahara. So several $1 million of taxpayer money and hundreds of hours of investigating, he found where he had bought an investment property from his, I guess, mortgage broker or whatnot, mailed him the information, and he lied. The mortgage broker said that Charlie had made like 50 grand more than he did annually. And so Charlie had signed the papers, and when he mailed them back, now that's interstate fraud because of the mail. So he was the first person, I believe at the time, to be prosecuted for falsifying a home loan.
Wow.
And he went to Beckley, West Virginia prison and served X amount of years and started a yoga program there, started a running program there. But he used all that energy into something positive. And all this is in the book. So here's something cool about that. So he was up in Beckley, West Virginia, and he talks about this guy, and I believe his name is Free Throw. Yeah, Free Throw is his name. This guy he met because obviously he's scared to death. He's in prison. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? And so Free Throw kind of takes him under his wing and makes sure he's safe and all that cool stuff, right? So I have a friend who went to prison in Beckley, West Virginia. They weren't there at the same time, but he knows Free Throw. So he gave me Free Throw's number. So I called Free Throw. He said, hey, man, I'm interviewing Charlie. He was like, you talking about the runner man? So, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, you tell him. I said, hello. The runner man. He was such an inspiration to all of us in prison. You know, he got us doing things we never thought we would do. You know, you got these big hardcore dudes out there running, doing yoga and this and that. So when I didn't tell Charlie. So when Charlie came on my show, we're talking about it. I said, hey, man, I got a surprise for you. By the way, Free Throw wanted me to tell you hello. I found him. I talked to him. After the show, I will give you his number and you can reach out. You know, and Charlie, he was speechless. And then he was like, I've never had anybody do anything like that. So that was really cool to do. And the next day, he was ringing the bell on the New York Stock Exchange. So that was pretty cool.
Wow. That's cool.
So how did you get connected with this dude?
With Free Throw?
Free Throw?
No, not Free Throw.
To Charlie. Oh,
Charlie.
so
I just like the name Free Throw.
I have another guy that was on my show. His name is Drew Combs. He was also battling addiction.
I know.
You know Drew? Okay.
With his brother,
Nick.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
He's my age.
So I'm great friends with his sister and her husband, Pete and Autumn. Mm-hmm. And my little girl and their little girl play together. So Drew was battling through some drugs and stuff and had some stuff happen. So he came on the show and talked about his journey. And he too has become an ultra runner, run 100 miles at a time.
Dude, he's like
running. Yes. Okay. So, and he was like, hey man, there's a guy that you should really talk to. I think would love to come on your show and tell his story. And I was like, well, the dude's done A, B, C, and D. Why in the world would he ever come on this show? And he was like, I'll ask him. And he agreed and he came on. So that was exciting. That was a good one.
What's my man? Yeah. Stay hard.
David Goggins?
Dude.
So I asked Charlie, and I was like, hey, man, do you know David? And he was like, oh, yeah, I know David. So I don't know, you know, he didn't elaborate.
Can't hurt me, baby. Can't hurt me.
Man, that, talking about callous in the brain, that dude is a whole nother level.
That book changed my life.
Did he really?
Yeah, dude. You didn't like it?
Oh, no, I love the book. I love him, man. If you want inspiration, Listen to him.
And I love the fact that he read his own audiobook, flaws and all. Like,
Yep.
I was just so intrigued by it. Just so, I loved it, beginning to end. I didn't stop.
Yeah.
I wish more people would do that.
I'll tell you one other thing about the Appetite Show. It is coming back. I'm working on some studio space now. We have to take a long pause. But the next time you come up to Statesville, you notice the big giant flag that's on the right, that where Camping World is. You got the big Randy Marions down here. Do you remember the big American flag controversy that was going on about 2019? 19?
In Statesville or
In
just
Statesville.
general?
Yeah, it made national news because the city council of Statesville told Marcus Lemonis, who owns Camping World and had the TV show The Prophet, that you're breaking the sign size ordinance and you can't fly a flag that big. Oh man, it was a mess. So then they started fining him X amount of dollars a day and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
So the host, I hosted my show, but Julius on the radio station, or not radio station, but the podcasting space. Somehow or another, man, he got Marcus Lemonis' number. And I was like, hey, you want to come on the show? And he's like, call you in 20 minutes. And he's like, Brandon, get to the studio. I jump on my car, get to the flea market, everything set up. And sure enough, Marcus Lemonis called us and we talked about the flag issue in debate. And that was the first interview he ever gave about the flag debate. So we recorded it, and Julius thought the right thing to do was reach out to city council at the time to let them know, hey, we talked to Marcus and this is going to air tomorrow. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I wasn't there. I was traveling or something the next day. So Julius had a meeting with them and then let them listen to it. So after that meeting, they changed the flag ordinance, and it was because of that interview. So that's one of the, I'm not going to say it's the whole reason, but that has some little part of why you get to see that big American flag flying there at Camping World.
I think it's huge.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's little things. So I told my wife, I said, we had a tiny little part of letting that big flag fly. So I thought that was awesome.
That is awesome.
You never know, man. You never know what you can do. You know?
Right.
So what was just amazing is you were like, hey, I was just jumping in the car heading to the flea market.
So guests would show up and they'd be like, I'm meeting at the flea market, and it's dark, dude. This thing is like 20,000 square feet. And I had one guest like, I was afraid I was going to like harvest my organs. No, you're good. You're good.
Oh.
I promise.
I mean, we got people coming over here for the side yard. It's like, yeah, drive on down to Rock Hill.
Yeah,
this
just
little
come
neighborhood,
here.
the side yard.
Yeah, come to the campers.
I always wonder about the neighbors. They just see like men and women just coming in and out of this RV, different hours of the day.
Well, luckily, I got some really cool neighbors. We don't have an HOA, so
That is important.
We had one of the first episodes. Homeboy over here came out. I get distracted easily, and so I'm sitting here talking to Jason. I see the guy behind me.
Walking
He's
in
like,
the background?
yeah.
I saw that episode.
get the pants.
Jason's like, keep going,
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
Like, I can't, man. I'm like over there.
They're part of the show, man.
Man,
They are. Now we're there. I'm good with it now.
If I get him on, it would be over.
I'm waiting to see him just pop up in the window right behind me.
Yeah,
Just, hey, what y'all doing in there, boy?
he's recovering from a
I don't know why
Why
you're
does he
talking
have
like
that voice?
I don't know. You know?
Of all the
That's
voices
why-
you could give him,
As I
hey,
said,
That was like so stereotypical.
Yeah, it was,
I
like,
mean, like
you like candy, little girl? Like, God.
what y'all doing in there? Can I come in?
It got so creepy so fast.
God,
Don't know why. I mean, I'm wearing a wrestling belt.
That's right.
Last time.
Yeah, his dog came over last time. And
His
when
dog?
you took his dog back, I heard him, get over here. Get over here, baby.
See, that's why I did that voice. That's it.
Sam was like, okay.
The dog did not.
I'm glad we shut the window so he doesn't hear you.
Oh, I know.
Oh, he probably still hears it. He's out there right now.
He's like that song.
Because you know when the light is on inside, he can see us, but we can't see him.
Exactly.
He's like right there.
So guys,
Cue the horror music right now.
Yeah, this is our first afternoon, evening episode.
Dusk.
It's evening. I mean, it's dinner time.
It's
Yes,
your
exactly.
bedtime.
It's my bedtime.
You're trying to go to the
I
club.
used to stay up till 5.
I don't know.
This is pretty legit. We got to say something
It
important.
is pretty legit.
I mean, I'm looking at my initials, the JH in one logo,
Isn't that nice?
in one letter.
Hey, Junk-a-hump.
Dude, do you know how many people go and go, "Hi, is this Junk Hauling?" Or
Do
they'll
they say it like that?
"Oh God, yeah." Or they'll say, "Is this Hunka?" No, Hunka Junk. Like they try to play off the Elvis Hunka Burning Love, and I'm like, nah, it's just one hunk.
But you have that name, and I've told them this several times. It's perfect for a jingle.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever did anything like that?
I haven't. I have an idea of a jingle.
Do you?
Sing it for us.
I can't do that. But I have a whole commercial that's a play on something, and I just have to get it done right. I need AI to help me.
Oh, okay.
So, but yes, I have something. But as far as a jingle, a proper jingle, I thought about it, but I haven't got anything down. But you're more than welcome. I'm open.
So we can run that audio, and you can run even ads with audio. So that would be kind of cool to run that and just get it everywhere and just get this, real sticky hunk of junk.
So
You're saying their jingle?
Yeah, hunk of junk.
I will say the name itself and just, I guess, the branding of it, which I don't know anything about marketing or branding, which obviously you guys know. But the community has said we have done a very good job of establishing ourselves and branding, because so many people know HunkaJunk. And they know our trucks, like it's a big orange truck. The box truck is huge. It has a logo on it. And they said we've done a good job. So, yay. I'm glad.
Are you leveraging those people? Because so often we as businesses, we say, hey, everybody loves us. They say this and that, all these positive things. That's the perfect time to capitalize and get them to tell your story, get them to promote you, get them to say great things about you.
So other than them maybe putting out a Facebook post or a Google review, how could I leverage them to benefit?
Well, for one, like anything online, a lot of times I like to say that's like, imagine an online business card. And so if you create a Facebook business page, people really aren't going there to interact. They're going to get data and information about your business. And the same thing, we had a call, I think, last week, we chatted and we talked about like Nextdoor. That was such a thing, 10 years ago. It was kind of ahead of its time. It's like it was created. I was like, this is stupid. Now it's not.
All right.
To where when you have a business where it comes in and services neighborhoods, to where this neighbor, if I'm walking out the door and I have all this crap, all this junk that needs to be taken away, I don't want to go to Google and figure this out. If my neighbor Gene walks up to me and I'm like, hey, do you know anybody that would take this away? You got to call HunkaJunk. They're reliable, they're dependable, they're cost effective, whatever it is. I'm going to call you without having to see anything about it. And so figuring out the platforms where you can get that referral aspect of it. And so if you're going into certain neighborhoods, certain environments to where, hey, we've serviced 10, 20, 50 houses in here, that's going to be like your low-hanging fruit to where you can go there and let them kind of tell your story and start promoting you. You can even do kickbacks, referrals, all kinds of stuff.
That's why I need y'all. Need y'all more in my life.
Hey, do you even put like little signs out when you leave? Like, hey, this has been serviced by HunkaJunk?
That's a great question. Yes. So what we do, instead of littering the town with signs on the corners, what we do is we put a yard sign in the yards of customers we've serviced. Yeah, that's what we do.
Is it up to them? Like, do you ask them? You say,
we ask them. Yeah,
has anybody ever said no?
Rarely. There are communities that have HOA that doesn't allow it, which I get that, which is fine.
And how in the heck did you know her name was Miss Jean?
Actually, for real here?
Man, he circled back like 7 minutes ago. That was good.
Hey, man, I had to, because like that really got me.
I didn't know it was Miss Jean. So the funny story of that, if a couple of my good friends are listening to this, they're going to crack up at Jean, because my old neighborhood, I had this neighbor. She's about 75, 80, Miss Jean. She kind of had a crush on me. And so I was referencing her.
Miss Jean.
What's happening?
Close. He was channeling his inner Michael Jackson to Billie Jean, but it's Miss Jean.
Amazing.
You never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
Dude, imagine if you walked out, showing up at people's doorstep like, hey, I'm Brandon with HunkaJunk, doing that.
HunkaJunk.
Doing that.
HunkaJunk.
Are you like a choo-choo? Like a locomotive?
I like it. He's getting that motor running. That's good.
You're not drinking anymore for podcast.
I was like, I don't know if we're going to do any more evening sessions.
That's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic.
We're going to have to do a / on the Love Your Brand. Love Your Brand / evening.
Yeah. Just a nice beat behind it. Come on now. I'm just thinking. You just got to marinate on it a little bit. It's catchy.
I feel so bad for our audio listeners only. They don't know what's happening.
They don't.
Too bad. Y'all better go. Well, no. On Spotify now we have video, right?
Yeah, but we got Apple Podcasts. There's no video there.
Well, that's
like
right.
they're like third place. So go to Spotify or YouTube.
I don't know. We had the #1 marketing and business podcaster on Apple. Here.
Hey, by the way, congratulations. By the way, just so you guys know, you listeners, I've been following Talon Alexander for years on the social media, and Jason's done an incredible job here. I wouldn't have reached out to Jason if I didn't think him and his crew do a really good job. So if you're looking for some marketing advice, some wisdom, he has surrounded himself with an incredible team. So please reach out to these guys, and they're going to shoot you in the right direction. That's for sure.
And that is why HunkaJunk is this episode's sponsor for that plug
correct.
Right there. Just kidding. Thanks for those words, man.
Well, you're welcome.
We appreciate
too.
that.
But I tell you something else too is, I knew you previously in your hometown, and I like keeping things homegrown. So if there's anything that I can do to help support local, even though you may not live in Statesville, you're still local, to me. So if there's anything you can do for me that I like to help others that are doing the thing, whatever their thing is, and they're trying to thrive and do good things, I like to help out, support.
I think it's important when I think everyone should be a business owner, or at least consider themselves a business owner, even in their pursuit of their job or their career, because the company that they're working for will recognize that. They will give them a share of profits. They will give them a cut in the business. Like, you need to have that business mindset. And a lot of my listeners, I believe, are entrepreneurs or wanting to start businesses, maybe have side hustles. And I love having someone on that, took that leap.
Yeah.
You were working full time and your wife was like, hey,
Still is.
Let's get this going. And look what happened. Just you took that step. It's that next step. That's why when we filmed our first podcast, it went horribly wrong. The audio didn't work. We laughed. He called me by my wrong name.
He did.
He's known me for like 12
came to
years.
my wedding.
I came to his wedding. He's calling.
He calls you Jason Alexander.
He absolutely did.
Right.
And I said, you know what? And we had like vintage curtains and everybody was
So
just, I was like, you know what? Let's just post it, because it's all about taking that next step. And I think that's the most trouble in today's society. You've got all this information, you got all the certifications and courses and information overload.
Oh, yeah.
You think you got to constantly learn so much. And what happens is, that's it. You just keep learning. You never do anything.
Right.
You never buy a truck. Go on that first pickup.
Yeah.
You never help that first person with consulting. You never try that first branding project.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we had Ryan on, and he said, you got to be where you want to be. Go beyond where you want to be. Act beyond where you want to be.
Right.
And, you manifest it.
Well, if we go back a second to David Goggins, you got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And if you start something like a side hustle or whatever, it's scary, but you got to get comfortable with that uncomfortable. We got some things that we're looking to explore, and it's about to get uncomfortable. It could, but I'm not necessarily scared of that. But we have some other projects. Like we have branched out into hot tub demo, right? A couple years ago. Never done that before. But guess what? We're really good at it. We've been tearing down decks. Didn't I do that before? But now we do. Now we went into bathroom demolition. Okay, so we're expanding, we're growing, we're getting into areas that, these guys have done it before and they know what they're doing and whatnot. And so there are these areas that you can grow in that are uncomfortable, but get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to kind of end on and marinate on, because I think so often for me, everybody's wired differently, but I was always that complacency, the comfortable, because it was predictable. I could control it and not get hurt or not take the risk kind of a thing. But the greatest opportunity for growth is when you allow yourself to go in that uncomfortable, because then you don't know what's next. It was like your wife when she brought it to you and you started doing it and it started kind of taking off and you were like, hey, we're going to pour into this. She's like, hold on, we were just going to do this.
Correct.
And that was kind of that uncomfortable. It's like we have the opportunity. We don't know where this is going to go, but if we invest in it, if we do the work, there's no telling where this thing's going to go. Now you're at a place within 6 years. It's like, hey, we could potentially, get rid of our jobs, not get rid of our jobs, but transition from these jobs to this full time and really make an impact. Because at the end of the day, you're making an impact. And, there's nonprofits that make an impact. There's, different businesses that make an impact. But people have a problem and they need help, and you offer a solution for them. And when you come in and offer that solution for them, it brings them relief. It brings them, satisfaction. It brings them joy. It brings them all these things. And so I think that's why we're put on this earth, is to be able to help other people, love other people through our actions, through our services. And it starts with getting uncomfortable.
Too many people want to be comfortable.
It's easy to do, man.
You just got to put a big belt on, and then you got the confidence for days.
That's what we're right now. We're building everybody that they just want to. That's what they work on. Self-care so much that it's like, how do I make my life even more comfortable? Constantly, they don't want to go to work. They don't want to do this. They don't want. How do I do this and this and this? It's a shame.
It's interesting you say self-care, because believe it or not, junk removal, decluttering a space and reclaiming your space is a form of self-care. If you would 100%. See some of our customers when they have their garage back or that attic back or their business back, they're like, the look on their face is just like this whole burden has been lifted,
that's so good.
And they are so helpful. But that's part of the... So also it's part of the nursing, like giving back. So I didn't realize junk removal would really truly be giving back. So that those are the two similarities between my two professions, is giving back. And I never thought they would cross. Like, what the hell does nursing have to do with junk removal? But you're still providing a service that someone needs. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we know we have a lot of people that are listening that are local. A lot of people are listening that are not local. And so for the local people, how can they find you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. You can find us on our website, HunkaJunkHauling.com. You can find us on the Instagram, HunkaJunk Hauling, and you can find us on Facebook, HunkaJunk Hauling, and even on TikTok, HunkaJunk Hauling. You can always call this number right here, because you're going to get me. You're not going to get an answering service. That is my number. So when everybody calls, they're like, am I speaking to Hunka? Yep, this is me.
Nice.
So, yep.
And how big area y'all service?
So we service all of Iredell County and most surrounding counties. This is what I tell folks. If I'm traveling a distance, if it makes sense for me to come to you and it makes sense for us to do the job, as long as we're happy and you're happy, we'll do it. We've been down to Rock Hill, we've done Mount Holly, we've been to Raleigh-Durham, we've been to Blowing Rock, Boone, Virginia. So we've traveled some distance. And so as long as the customer's happy and we're happy, that's all that matters.
Dude, y'all could even do, y'all could do a promotion, like do a push out there and say, hey, the most unique item that we find in your home that we can feature, your junk removal is for free. And, to where people, they're more inclined to want to move forward with you. And so you can grow the business that way. And then you're going to feature that item. And that could be like kind of a monthly thing, that you're going to feature. Human remains are pretty up there.
That's pretty up there. That's there's been some others. We didn't find the Rolex, but the homeowner found the Rolex. But that would have been a big find. Well, obviously would have given it back, but yes.
And if you hadn't seen them in the area, stay tuned, because I have a feeling you will see HunkaJunk Hauling in your area. One call removes it all. HunkaJunk Hauling.
And don't forget, They are the undisputed heavyweight champions of the world.
HunkaJunk. HunkaJunk Hauling. HunkaJunk.
You're working on it. I like it.
Hauling.
It's coming.
HunkaJunk Hauling. HunkaJunk. HunkaJunk Hauling. HunkaJunk.
Yes,
HunkaJunk Hauling. HunkaJunk.
it's coming.
HunkaJunk Hauling. Yeah. There it is, baby.
Why is she not filming this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That was
It's over
amazing.
here.
That
You gotta
was
start
amazing.
small. You
Oh,
gotta
that's
build
true.
up. It needs a build up.
Oh my
Right.
God.
We're still working on it.
It's almost like a hype song.
It's a hype song. It's a
Yes.
hype song. HunkaJunk. Think about the beat, baby. Come on now.
Maybe we close this one out and work on that beat.
We
Yeah, that
will.
works.
All right, guys.
Hey, bro. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate you guys having me. Appreciate what
Thank
you're
you so
doing.
Thanks for the swag.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys. And yeah, reach out to Tal Alexander if you need any marketing advice. You're in good hands.
There's that word from our sponsor again. We appreciate
Awesome.
it. All right,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening and joining us on the Love Your Brand podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, and remember, share the love.
You could do even something like that. Hold on, I mean, it could.
You just go like look to the side and be talking.
Yeah, he was like,
Hey.
he was like, have you seen our say hot dog?
What's comfortable?
I like how Jason's getting it
Yes,
for you. It
he's
just
good.
you could get it.
Yeah, I got it. Is this comfy for you, Brandon? You like it like this? Huh? A little in, a little closer?
Well, Jonathan, he pushes it, not you, but the Abrams. We're sitting here filming, and
I was like straight up.
he pushes it all the way forward and does like this.
Oh,
and
wow.
I wasn't even thinking about it, but we got like his head on this shot right here. Luckily, we had the wide angle going.
Yeah,
So,
that angle looked really good on him.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
no,
was-
this is good right here.
He was like 6'5" though, so he was a
I
big
get it.
dude.
He relates.
I'm like 5'6".
Brandon's got that.
Yeah, I'm the reverse.
6'5", 5'6". I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Podcast was over before he was doing that.
said, HunkaJunk Hauling, HunkaJunk, HunkaJunk Hauling, HunkaJunk.
Telling you, man,
there's something there.
Oh, we gotta
work on that.
Zan's eyes
Thank
were
you so
like,
much.
what is happening?
What is happening in this place?
HunkaJunk Hauling.
We're never doing an evening podcast again.
Yeah, that
I
should
have to go to the
definitely be in
bathroom
your
so bad. Can I go to the
outtake.
house?